What is going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? It's a roleplay here once again. Today I want to present you the finalized version of the SKELEMANCER build, or the Summon Skeletons build. I created the sketch build for this project about 4 months ago, and I played it in the Flashback Incursion race kind of event, and level up to 89 without the big problems. But it just was ran out of time and couldn't finalize the whole thing. So I did it finally. I killed Uber Elder 2, so the build is absolutely safe to play now. It's also extremely good in the Betrayal League because we can now easier craft +1 skeleton chests, so it's very good. What I like about this build in the first place that the damage is really bonkers. It's like Blade Warwick's level of single target. The survival ability is really decent as well. It's actually pretty good because we can run with about 8,000 HP if we want, even 9,000 and even 11,000 effective HP if we go Mind Over Matter. This is for the hardcore people out there. So it offers a really good balance between the clear speed, single target, and the survival ability. So it's very good all around. So why skeletons, you will ask me? Why not skeletons plus specters? Well, for a couple of reasons. I really wanted to try out just the skeletons and see how much damage they do. I've seen some numbers and they look very promising. At the same time, I know that specters are really OP, but I wanted to stick with the skeletons and see how much single target damage they deliver. If you really invest yourself, try to maximize the skeleton damage, because for the summoner in general, for the necromancer, it's really hard to stretch out between the skeletons and specters or the zombies. You really have to invest yourself into one thing, because if you're stretching out, you will be losing some damage here, losing some damage there. But if you really want to maximize things, you gotta invest yourself into one thing. And I decided I'm gonna be skeletons. They were actually in a very bad spot, a couple of years ago. I don't really give a shit about skeletons, but several patches ago, when Grinding Games greatly revised the whole minion thing, the skeleton numbers became really promising, and this is when people got more and more into skellies, tried to use them as a single target. And I really wanted to check them out and see how much damage they do. I was literally surprised how effective they are, guys. Let's look at the pros and the cons of the build. As for the pros, there are actually numerous pros of the build. There is not even really much weak spots out there. First of all, the tankiness is really good. We can run about 7, 8, even 9,000 HP if we want, with the Lionel's Remorse and an extra couple of jewels out there. I had 8.3k life for my Uber Elder attempts, and it went really smooth. At the same time, we have decent amount of physical damage reduction, about 50% outside of Basalt and Taste of Hate, and with these two Flasks, it's even more crazy. If you really want, we're gonna stack block chance with roomies, get some block chance shield, get some block spells, and block root. There are multiple ways, and the survival ability is really cool because it's also minions in minion build, and you can just summon minions and off-screen moss bosses without even looking what's going on. At the same time, the damage is really bonkers, like I said. We are running with about 11 to 12 skeletons. Each of them does about 300k, so that's about 3.5 to about 4 million DPS for the Sheeper, for the endgame bosses, which is really bonkers. This is as high as my absolutely crazy, Blade Warwick's Inquisitor build on steroids. This is really high single target damage, and most bosses just do not survive this. They just die very fast. The clear speed at the same time is much better than I originally predicted. When I started playing, a lot of people complained that I saw complaints that the mobility is kind of shit, the clear speed is kind of not as good as Spectres. This is all not very true. There's definitely not as fast as Spectres, but they are faster than zombies for the most part. And overall, when you get this movement speed, you can go Biscuit's Leash and all that stuff. You can get movement, minion movement speed on the rings. You can get a lot of things to help your skeletons. You can go on Queen's Decree. Queen's Escape if you really wish to boost your speed. And there are many ways that you can boost your speed, and overall even without all this, it's still pretty damn fast build, I would say. Another thing that I really like is how cheap this build is. You don't really need any crazy, you know, GG gear. The rings are practically trash. The amulet is the only thing that, and it's not even necessary. You can run Ascendancy. I killed Uber Elder with Ascendancy without big problems. The shield is like 1 alchemy. The helm is bone helmet. The chest is bed of the best. The boots are just anything rare. The weapon might be the biggest problem, but it's not even that important, honestly. You can just, you know, go the Scorch and be really cheap ass. So the gear wise, it's very cheap, affordable build. You can run it as a league starter without any problem. For the cons of the build, it's really hard to say anything because the build is just so smooth. The only con that is kind of realistic is possibly the clear speed, because like I said, it's not really the Spectre clear speed, but there are ways how you can put a couple of DPS Spectres in there by getting a little more damage. You can get 2 Spectres in this build. If you really wish, you can add Spectres. The build is very flexible and is mostly like turning from the cons to pros because you can do a lot of things, but the clear speed just might be not as fast as, you know, the Spectre build alone. Let's take a look at path building, guys. I will guide you through the most things that you need to know about the progression. So we start as the witch over here and basically get these minion nodes over here. The first thing you want to get is Grave Intentions and Allure of the Dead. And after that, this is practically just gathering life and more minion nodes. I personally prefer gathering this life over here. And after that, I transition to Quick Recovery to get a little regeneration going on. And also try to get Grave Pact. After that, like I said, in mostly life, I would personally go to the Spiritual Command and Sacrifice, as well as gather these things over here, this life over here, and try to get Rider's Army and Redemption as soon as possible. If your zombies keep dying in the very early game, you try to get Minion Leech Node. This will heal them a little, as well as Minion Life and Life Regeneration. This will keep them alive a little more. At about level 50, this is where you will be getting your Victorious Charity, and Victorious Charity is extremely important for the build because it transitions all power charges and frenzy charges to your minions. With the Necromantic Aegis, all bonuses from an equipped shield apply to your minions instead of you. By default, your minions can get power charges, frenzy charges, and endurance charges. They cannot get anything, they do not have anything. But using this shield, you transition all your shield bonuses and allow your minions to actually use this shield stats. And this is how they start getting power charges and start gaining your frenzy charges. And they work very differently. And this is why Victorious Charity is extremely powerful for the minion builds. For yourself, 1 power charge gives you 40% increased critical chance. For the minions, 1 power charge gives him 200% increased critical chance. So like critting like crazy. At the same time, 1 frenzy charge gives you 4% increased attack speed and 4 more damage. And for the minions, it gives 15% increased attack speed, as well as 5% increased movement speed, as well as more damage, of course. So basically the charges for your minions, they have much larger impact on them than on you. That's why they are absolutely bonkers damage if you use Victorious Charity along with your minions. So for the tree, like I said, at around level 50 you need to get Necromantic, I guess. And after that, this is mostly just life gathering because you don't really need anything else. Make sure you will get a jewel with a taunt attacks. I think I have it somewhere here. Let me find it. I think I have it. Yeah, this. Make sure you get one of these jewels, which is Ghastly Eye jewels with chance to blind and chance to taunt on hit with attacks. You can get them differently, like blind on one jewel and taunt on another, doesn't matter. But taunt on hit and attacks would extremely important because the monsters will basically get distracted and will concentrate their firepower on your skeletons, and you don't really care because skeletons are fragile, they are supposed to die. The most important thing about this is that the monsters will not hurt you. So after about 50-60, like I said, basically just get more life, get more jewel nodes, and that's about it. This is region, this is quite important over here. At about level 90, the last thing that I took is this jewel over here and this jewel over here. This is level 93, by the way. This is all very affordable here. For the Ascendancy, the first thing you're gonna get is Bone Sculptor, definitely Invoker, then Bone Sculptor, and the last two, Commander of Darkness and Puppet Master. Whichever you take of this doesn't matter. Actually, you can get one or the other. It's not big of a deal. The first thing you want to prioritize is definitely Bone Sculptor. This is extremely important. It gives your skeletons, the hits can be evaded and they literally hit every time. At the same time, this is not resolute technique like this, for example, when they never do critical strikes, they actually do, and that's why combining this node with the Victorious Charity gives absolutely bonkers damage for them. The bandits, like I mentioned on my Path of Exile thread, this is kill all, you don't really need anything else. I will go over the skills and the gear really quick, but I will get more in detail on my endgame gear session. So the weapon is basically the minion speed 100, the minion damage 100, sorry. These are quite affordable, and I think they kind of cannot be crafted now. They are mostly the Incursion Bestiary items, but you know, they can be crafted in the Betrayal, I think, because we're getting the Bestiary mods, we're getting the Incursion crafts and all of this. These are very easy to get right now, and there's also two-hander they can use while leveling, which are extremely bonkers. They're like over 100% increase minion damage. This is absolutely GG. Another thing that you can use is the Scourge. It's a very, very cheap affordable replacement if you can get a mace like this. The only problem with the Scourge that you actually need to hit every 4 seconds, like you see. Increase minion damage if you have hit recently, and to hit recently you actually need to hit something recently, and recently is 4 seconds. So to get this minion damage, you need to hit something every 4 seconds. For the mapping, it's not really a problem. For the bossing, that can be a little problem. For the offhand, this is Victorious Charity, and basically this is it. This is what we'll be using for the entire game, except Uber Elder. This is the only place where I had problems with toughness, and I switched to the Lioness Remorse, and I get absolutely, and I spec'd, also unspec'd Necromantic, I guess, to get the shield bonuses on me. I will have a special section in the Path of Exile thread, what you should do for the Uber Elder to improve your toughness. The helmet is practically a bone helmet with life resist, nothing spectacular. If you can get, you know, an Elder bone helmet with some minion damage, it will be absolutely GG, as well as you can get the skeleton damage enchant, but bone helmets is just an extremely cheap, affordable option. This is like bonkers for all minion builds. The body armor is Belly of the Beast, nothing crazy. You can also have something like this, which is, you know, life resist +1 crafted skeletons if you wish. This is the Elder chest. For the gloves, this is the only gloves that you should be using, as the Grip of the Council, 20% of physical damage is extra cold. This is absolutely ridiculous. This boosts your skeletons and give them cold damage. Packed with the crit chance they have, they actually shatter and crit like crazy left and right. The boots are normal, life resist, movement speed, nothing crazy. Try to get a regen enchant on them. The amulet is the Elder Amulet with +1 skeletons, but it can be problematical to get one like this. So if you don't have the currency or just could not find the right amulet for 1 skeletons, just use Ascendancy. That's what I actually used to defeat Uber Elder, and it's absolutely not a problem. Ascendancy is very good for the build because it solves all your dexterity problems. Most summoners, spellcasters are extremely problematical on dexterity, and Ascendancy really solves this problem. It's very nice. For the rings, there are two possible options. For the DPS, you need Corrupted, Hatred Increase Aura Effect rings, which I have like this, but it might be a little problematical to get good rings for the Hatred. So if you don't have them, just use the normal Life Resist rings with minion movement speed if you can find this. I think that might be more expensive than the Hatred ring because, you know, no one gives a crap about Hatred and Corrupted rings, but people do care about minion movement speed. They can actually boost your skeletons by a lot, but at the same time, this will not boost your damage as well. The build is normal Stygian wise with some good jewel here. The flasks, like I said, I will explain everything in the flask section, but this is mostly just, you know, life, quicksilver, basalt, and rumis convocation. You can use something else instead of rumis. I personally use taste of 8 for the Uber Elder. This is very easy. For the eyes, these are pretty much the most important thing for the build, I would say. There are many ghastly eyes that can be useful. Minion attack speed, increase attack speed if you killed recently, chance to blind, taunt and hit, life of course. Also, increase minion damage if you use the minion skill recently. You will be using a lot of flesh offering to boost your damage. So I strongly recommend to use this kind of jewels. All of this will be very useful. We will also be using one from Dust Jewel to get us 2 additional skeleton warriors. This is very important. Anatomical knowledge should be placed over here, but this is not mandatory. This is also gives you just about 200 life, which is just to maximize your life. It is not really important. You can just get another you know, minion jewel instead. Of course, for the skills itself, I will go really quick over this. This is your Val Summon Skeletons, trying to get the quality Val Skeletons as soon as possible. Minion damage, melee fizz, multi-strike, maim. These are main 5 skill gems that we'll be using. The 4th one is Empower because it will give your minions also life and pretty much boost them crazily. But if you are poor, you don't have the currency and 4 or 5 exiles to buy Empower, you can use Ruthless. It's absolutely the same amount of damage. But the problem with Ruthless is for the lengthy fights like the Uber Elder, skeletons just might not live in long enough to perform the 3rd Ruthless strike. So and Ruthless doesn't give them extra life while Empower does. So Ruthless, I personally use Ruthless. I didn't have an Empower by the time I killed Uber Elder, so it was very good choice as well. For the clear speed, also drop this for the melee splash. I forgot to mention, always use melee splash for the clear speed because it gives your skeletons an AoE damage with really crazy boost speed. Just do not go mapping without melee splash, that's about it. This is a falling with Desecrate. This will be creating corpses, summon Star Golem, increase duration of flesh offering. Basically create corpse, destroy corpse, get our minions some attack speed. This is shield charge, faster attacks 45, nothing crazy. Cast 1 damage taken on the offhand, immortal call, increase duration. Cast 1 damage taken, immortal call, increase duration, nothing crazy here. The aura set that we'll be using as Generosity with Hatred to give it all to the minions, as well as Blasphemy to the Punishment. The Blasphemy with Punishment actually has pretty minimal effect, but you know, an extra like 6% damage I think is pretty good. 8 to 6% or DPS additional, I think is actually good. It's just for additional extra, you know, boost of your damage. And this is basically a helm, which is Raise Spectre, Animated Guardian, Minion, Life Totem Resistance, and Minion Life. The Animated Guardian section, I will write specifically a section on the forum. This is really important to read, guys. Raise Spectre is just there for a little bubble of protection. We'll be doing Undying Evangelist and Heretic Guardians. They are just for the defense. They do not serve any other reasons. They create a bubble of protection and prevents different sources of damage. effectively in the melee range when you summon your skeletons, so they're kind of protecting the skeletons themselves. This is quite useful for both you and the skeletons as well. So that's about it. For the early leveling, this is pretty much straightforward. I'm personally a big fan of Explosive Trap. It's very powerful, so just take it after the first quest and start using it along with zombies. Once you get multiple traps, attach it to the Explosive Trap and you're good to go. You can also use Raging Spirits, but I personally found it's not very necessary. The 4 links for the zombies are here. Once you get Summon Phantasm and Kill, use it along with zombies. This will boost your damage even more. Keep in mind that the skeletons will not be very effective till the crew lap, which you get the second major notable Ascendancy node over there. This is no-brainer gear, just Gold Rim, Wanderlust, Life Sprigs. There are many cool items for the summoners like the Wraith Lord and Mark of the Red Covenant. The boots are Victorious, Flight, nothing crazy. This is the staff that I bought extremely early on, around like level 30. This was, I think, 1 alchemy. This is incredibly strong for an early game, and this is very affordable. Buy Hatred at level 24, and don't forget to buy a cheap Vile Summon Skeletons with quality, guys. Quality is very important. At the same time, you can start using Bone Helmet when you can, and use a Blessed Orb on it to get maximum minion damage. At the same time, start leveling your Animated Guardian and Spectre Gems, but Animated Guardian will really just die left and right without the proper gear and a lot of life, so just level him up, but don't use him because he will die. When you reach to the maps, you will be able to craft +1 skeletons, and we will getting this craft in the Betrayal too in the core game, so I think it will be really nice. You saw that chest that I had and the Path of Building with the rare chest was +1 skeletons. You can use it as well. You can temporarily like buy a 5-link rare chest or a 6-link rare chest with an open mod and just craft skeletons on them. There's also millions of minion good unique items that you can use, like the City of Breath, Bones of Valor, Alberon's Warpath, +1 skeletons, Wraith Lord, amazing, Skullhead, Violent Death for the zombies to make them a little stronger, Montrigos Grabs for the zombies, Midnight's Bargain, Severin Sleep. All of these are very useful and just a huge list of what you can use. But you know, once you reach maps, you can just drop zombies and forget about them because they're too annoying. They will die left and right, even with resistance that we have. They will keep dying all over, and you also need corpses to summon them. One for skeletons, you don't really need anything. You just need, you know, skeleton skill. You don't need corpses. This is good. For the endgame skills and gear, this is what I had when I defeated Uber Elder. This is Bed of the Beast, pretty normal one. Grip of the Council, like I said. Boots with the region, move speed, resist life. Victorious Charity, pretty decent one. Bone Helmet with the bunkers, life and resist that I crafted using free. Chaos Orbs. 2 rings with a hate rate increase aura effect. This and this. This scepter I bought in the Flashback, I think. It was like 20 chaos, not that much actually. The belt is very old and it's just a Stygian wise with a free res, nothing crazy. This is practically the jewels, like I said, they all in Path of Building, life, resist, minion attack speed, minion damage if you've killed recently, minion damage if they killed recently, nothing spectacular over here. For the amulet, I personally use Ascendancy because I'm really lacking some dexterity for the Desecrate and Hatred specifically. So, dexterity is always a problem, and Ascendancy really helps with that. If you don't have this scepter, if you don't have mace, if you don't really have currency to buy a really good mace with minion damage, you can use the Scourge. Like I said, it's much more affordable, easy, cheap. You just need to hit something every 4 seconds with that. If you're really gonna go apeshit and maximize your skeletons like crazy, you can go Elberon's Warpath. These are boots that give you +1 skeletons. For the skill gems, they are all in path of building, but I will tell you that this is melee splash for the mapping, then I drop it and use Ruthless for the bossing, or Empower if you have the currency, like I said, multi-strike, melee fizz, maim support, this is important, skeletons with quality, and minion damage support. On the helm we have minion and total mental resistance, for the minion life for the animated guardian, spectre, which is a defensive spectre, and animated guardian, this is it. Here we have shield charge, fortify, and faster attacks. On the off-hit, convocation with the mortal call and custom damage taken. This actually recalls your minions when you get hit. On the boots we have auras, which is punishment with blasphemy, as well as generosity with hatred, nothing crazy. Flash offering and desecrate here on the gloves, as well as stun golem just for the next region, with increased duration for our offerings and desecration, mostly for the offerings though. That's about it, guys. For the flasks, like I said, that's pretty much defensive flask, because any kind of extra damage does not really affect your minions. The damage increases, it all affects you but not the minions. This is the setup that I personally use to kill Uber Elder with, which is Taste of Hate, Basalt Flask, Quicksilver for the move speed, Blood of the Karoo, and Divine Life Flask. If you don't have Blood of the Karoo, it's not really that important, just get another life flask. Practically the more life you have, the more life flask you have, the more kind of defensive you become, the more tougher you become. We don't really need anything else for this setup, so the flasks are really easy, except maybe a Taste of Hate, but you can get, you know, the armor flask instead of superior Taste of Hate, and basically have the same thing. For the Pendant, guys, I strongly recommend to use Soul of Aracali because it increases your life regeneration and also gives you chaos resistances against damage over time. This is very important, because these are one of the couple things that make it really make it you know, the importance in the very end game. Recovery and chaos rest against damage over time, because these two things that can kill you really fast. For the minor god, I really recommend Soul of Rislada for the most part, because it gives you increased life recovery from flask when using low life, and when you drop and then press this flask, it recovers you like crazy. Also, gaining life flask every 3 seconds is very important. We are not pathfinders, so this can be very useful. You know, most of the time we are just running around bosses trying to avoid damage and let them do all the job. That's why getting an extra life flask once in a while is very useful. Now, this build, hardcore viable or not, guys? The biggest question for the hardcore players out there. This is actually one of the most viable hardcore builds out there, even though we are not leeching anything, but you know, the off-screening damage, the off-screening bosses, and overall safety, because we are not really getting in the melee range, we are out of danger. I think this is very hardcore friendly build. I know a lot of people playing it in hardcore, but you know, they also use specters and to get more damage, to not get stuck in mobs, which I personally recommend. If you want to play it on hardcore, you can try skeletons, but it will just give you a less more kind of a little higher chance to die in density, because specters clear density, while skeletons are mostly against single target. With just the skeletons, you are pretty damn good against single target, but density can eventually kind of get you, and so you just should be really careful with that. But it's absolutely hardcore viable. Why not? Now let's talk about the overall effectiveness of the build, guys. How does it feel in general? For the clear speed, I will definitely give it as 3 out of 5 for a couple of reasons. Because, you know, it does feel slow, definitely, as with the specters, but it doesn't feel that slow to make it kind of uncomfortable. And when you play this build long enough, you realize that it's not actually slow. It's just not very fast, but it's not slow at all. For the boss power, it's definitely 4 out of 5. More towards 4 and 5 because the damage is pretty crazy. Like I said, it's around the Blade Warwick's fully buffed damage. But at the same time, skeletons are kind of squishy and die to the very end game. They die a lot of time. And not many of them actually stand up there to do this damage. So this is just not bonkers, you know, Blade Flurry damage. But it's just very strong. 4 out of 5 easily. The AoE is 2 out of 5, of course, because, you know, this is just not an AoE-oriented build, because it's pretty also annoying a little to get melee splash on and off, melee splash on and off. Without the melee splash, it has no AoE at all, just single target, pure single target. But with melee splash, it automatically transitions into AoE skill, and it becomes really okay. It's just not very impressive, I would say. For the toughness perspective, I would say 4 out of 5 easily, just a lot of toughness. I managed to kill Uber Elder. I had 8.3 thousand life, just really nice toughness. The physical reduction is 50% without Taste of Hate, without Taste of Hate. With Taste of Hate, I get like 70. This is just very nice, guys. So toughness is very good. It's also very flexible. Can get block chance, you know, all of that stuff. It's very strong. Overall, I can tell you that I really enjoyed playing the build. It's one of the funniest, coolest thing to play as the summoner. Skeletons are really fun. They are really fun little dudes. They're doing a lot of damage. They are pretty interesting to play. It's a bit of a different experience other than zombies or specters. Even if you never played skeletons, I totally recommend it to play. It's also a very good league start because it doesn't require any specific gear. You can go very easily, cheaply, league start, and you know, craft anything, so that's very good. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for watching the video. Your likes and dislikes, especially, as they push me forward even more. If you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do daily uploads of role-playing content, be it builds, guides, let's play, stream highlights, and upcoming RPG games. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitch stream to catch me live in action. I do stream daily on working days. I'm a full-time YouTube content creator and a Twitch streamer too, so if you want to support me, you can do it either from Twitch or by PayPal directly from my website angryroleplayer.com. Join my Discord channel too for a place to discuss RPG things offline, as well as follow my Twitter to be notified on any new content. If you want to get extra information like sneak peeks into upcoming videos, plans, different behind-the-scenes footage, you can also join an Unholy Army on Patreon as well, guys. Thank you very much once again for watching and listening to all this. See you soon.